you haven't already done so, drop your name and where you're chiming in from in the chat so I can welcome you to the line tonight. I see we have Philip chiming in from Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome to the line tonight. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome to the call tonight. My name is Carly Gwynn. I am chiming in from Orlando, Florida this evening. And it is my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be your host tonight. And welcome each and every one of you to the call this evening. I see we have Gabby chiming in from Orlando. Welcome, Michael in Belize. Welcome to the line tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, the time has now come for me to step out of the way of greatness. The person that is speaking today, he's a family man, he's a military veteran, and he has been a successful entrepreneur for over 25 years. He's earned millions of dollars in not one, not two, but three different industries. And he has come out of retirement because this is going to be the fourth industry that he earns multiple millions of dollars in. Not only has he done pretty well for himself, but he's always done what's best for his people and put them first. And he's helped them make quite a bit of money as well. I'll just say that, okay? He actually has a goal to help 10,000 families generate $5,000 per month in residual recurring income over the next 2 to 5 years. But what I love most about him is he's the definition of integrity and character. And he's one of the only people that's ever been and done every single thing he ever committed to me that he would be or do. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let me get some fire. Let me get some hearts. Let me get some love in the chat. Please help me welcome to the line someone I'm honored to call my coach, my mentor, and my friend, the VP of Sales himself, Mr. Sam Bean.
Hey, 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 it's time to play. What's going on, Carly? How we doing?
Doing awesome, sir. How about you?
Man, I'm fantastic. This is the Millionaire Mentorship call, so it don't get any better than this. So, guys, I appreciate y'all. Give Carly some fire. You know what I'm saying? Let her light her up in the chat. Let her know you appreciate her hosting. She's the host with the most, right? And out of Orlando, Florida, making things happen. Proud owner of a brand new box. She just got a Zeta box today. So, hey, everything in our life is about to speed up, not just the internet. So, definitely want to say this is where we come, guys. This is the first time I want to say welcome, but this is where we come every Monday night without fail. This is where we come and give you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help your businesses. And so sometimes the truth hurts. We're a little bit direct because you can't build a really big company or a seven-figure income, living in your emotions. All right. And so definitely want to say before we get started, I want to say I appreciate the fact that you have owners who open up this company for all of us to participate and participate in. And Mr. Winston Navarro, CEO of the company, JC Rangel, El Presidente, and then you have the Pachecos who are our partners as well. And I also want to give shouts out, to the Leadership Council. We have some really solid individuals who've come on board, some out of retirement and some from other companies to do big things with us, right? And so when I say, we're at a really good point, guys, we are like literally halfway through the year. 2025 is halfway done. This is the first Millionaire Mentorship call for the second half, and you guys are here with me. And this is a training that I'm going to do today that I normally do once a year, sometimes twice a year, depending on how fast the company is growing, okay, or how fast my group is growing. And so this is, one where if you take notes, right, and go back and look at each and every last one of these things I'm going to talk about today, do a little bit of reflection, and then also do a little bit, make some corrections. You can see a super, super um, change and evolution and yourself. And then next year, this time, you'll see the change in your revenue, income, net worth, and everything else. So when you look at, you know, the differences between very, very successful people, when I say people who control all the wealth, the 3% of the world, who control 97% of the money and the wealth of the world, they are all highly effective in 12 different areas, right? And as entrepreneurs, okay? And so I'm gonna talk about, those 12 different areas today, and I'll give you guys some real good, insights, some nuggets, if you will. So stay with me. But and these are in no specific order of value. These are just coming off the top, of my list here. Now, when it comes to people who are highly effective entrepreneurs are very effective at not just setting the proper goals and expectations. That's one of the main things they do. They are very effective at setting the proper goals and expectations. Right. So they stay focused. Once they set that goal, sometimes they'll get up every morning and write those goals out. Or sometimes they'll use those goals as affirmations and talk to themselves. Sometimes they'll record themselves on video and listen to their goals and their expectations. But they set them. They don't let people distract them from their goals. If they got something they got to do, that's their priority. Every goal that's not set, they understand that that's a goal that's not attained, right? These people are very, very emotionally sophisticated. So they know how to stay on track, right? They know all of their team goals, and they game plan, with their team members to make sure those goals are achieved, right? They don't invest a lot of time into people that refuse to set goals either. So, if you have people on your team members in your team and you've had game plan sessions with them and they don't come to those game plan sessions with goals already laid out, guys, I'm telling you that that may not be the person who you want to work with. That may be somebody you want to work around or work through. That may be somebody you want to have to work with their resources directly until you find somebody who is very, very effective at setting goals. Okay. But they deploy accountability devices, mechanisms, systems to ensure that they take responsibilities for their actions and also consequences. And so, if you don't have goals or a plan to achieve them, guys, then you are highly ineffective as an entrepreneur. Okay. The next one, highly effective entrepreneurs have a positive mental attitude. Their PMA is on fleek, right? They can't they literally can't have a bad day. They can have a bad hour, but they won't have a bad day. They can have a bad minute, they may not have a bad hour, right? But they can always find the positive, okay, in everything. They've decided from the time that they actually woke up, they were going to have a good day regardless of what happens within that day, right? Negativity is not conducive. It's not conducive to prosperity. They understand that. They will find a solution for everything that happens, guys. Where there's a will, there's a way. Whereas a person with PMA, there's a way, right? It's not over till it's over with them, right? They don't react when things go wrong. They counteract the emotion and then they respond, right? Like mature adults, right? And so their goal is also to impact the lives of others. So if somebody has to motivate you guys, inspire you, or talk you down off a ledge, then you are highly ineffective as an entrepreneur. Okay. People can't rely on you. Number three, highly effective entrepreneurs are always in the creative mode of business, right? Always in a creative mode of business. When I say creative, I'm not saying that they saw what JC Rangel trained on, so I'm gonna do something totally opposite that's unproven. Right? They didn't see what Winston Navarro promoted or Dr. Mr. Pacheco promoted, right? And say, you know what? They don't know what they're talking about. Uh, Even though they made millions of dollars, I'm gonna go ahead and do my own thing, even though they own the company. I know better than them, right? What I'm saying is they're creative, by going out there building their business, going out there prospecting, going out there filling up their pipeline and promoting their. When I say they're presenting, the group is always growing, right? And the cool part about it is when you see these type people who are at the top, they're on their way to six-figure status. These people, they're not showing their business once every week or every other week or, once a month. These people are showing their business. When I say showing their business, they're doing showcases, like 4 showcases a week, right? They have a regiment, they have a number, right? They have a basement, they have a floor, and they're doing that, knowing that everybody on their team is watching, but only 20% of their team members are going to follow, and that's the 20% that they care about. The other 80% are going to be incubators and people who quit and just hang around. But they're doing it to set the right example for the 20 percenters who they're going to build wealth with, right? But they're highly effective because they're always in the replacement mode. They understand that the moment they recruit somebody, they have to replace that person. Okay. They understand that at some point in time, somebody's going to make the $5,000 a month, and then they're going to get to the point where they, you know what, I know everything. That's when around about $5,000 a month is when you think you know everything, right? And so when you recruit somebody, you want to go ahead and recruit to replace that person as well. Always creating competition, right? Always finding somebody to elevate and finding somebody else to elevate to make sure that that person doesn't get the big head, right? So they're always creating leaders. They're always creating duplication. They're always creating something that's growing, and they have the most profitable and most sustainable assets when it comes to people who they work with, right? And so that's when you're looking at those type of people, you want to become that person, right? Um, you got to think about it. Like when I say you're building one person, and some people get that person to a high level, and then that person holds them hostage, right? You want to make sure you continue to build different pockets of business, different access points. So, if somebody gets a big head, they'll have to think about it, right? Because if it's just this one person, let's say, Carly got me to a certain level and I'm building 8,000, I'm making 10, $15,000 a month. Now Carly can't tell me nothing because I know I'm the only person in Carly's business. Now I get a chance to dictate, what happens between me and her, our relationship, right? Because I'm the one that's creating revenue and income for her. I'm counting her money because she don't talk about anybody else. She don't has any other team members that are on my level. So if I wasn't here, then she wouldn't be making no money. And that's what people say. And then you'll have some people where they fall out. They'll stop building their business, and like you say, you cut off your nose to spite your face. Well, some people will go out there and they will drink the poison thinking that you're going to die from it. Okay. And that's a reality. That's an actual thing. So you can't allow yourself to be held hostage. Okay. You got to put more people in the business and develop more and more leaders and more builders, more and more retailers, right? More and more salespeople. Go out there and build a portfolio and create a portfolio of winners, right? So when you got how many presentations you do a week, that person's not just showcases, but they're doing one-on-ones, two-on-twos. They're going out there and they're exposing the business at a high clip, right? And so I want to make sure you guys know if you're not creating, you're corroding. Okay. If you're not creating, you're corroding. Okay. So if the amount of times you expose your business is not congruent with the goals that you have set, you are highly ineffective as an entrepreneur. Okay. The other thing is this: when it comes to creating, and this is a sidebar, this is a caveat to how we build. We have, the binary or the dual team. Some of you guys know it as a dual team, and some of you guys are counting how many people were placed beneath you, right? Well, I hadn't had anybody placed beneath me. That's because you're not creating. That's because you're not working. It's not anybody's job to put anybody beneath you, right? That's why I don't promote spillover, right? Because spillover is something that everybody can't create, right? It's kind of like height. You can't promise it. You can't wake up and look at your baby and say, you know what, you're gonna be 7 feet tall. I promise you. Okay. Just like you, that's again, same thing. If you're not a person who is a builder, this is not something you can go out there and promote that they're gonna get spillover. So don't expect something for nothing. Don't expect somebody to build something that you're not willing to build. Okay. Be the reason, that people get in. Right. Be the reason that you have two strong sales teams. Okay. Two business legs, two power teams as they call them. Right. Don't ask me for anything you should be doing yourself. Right. And that's the same mentality that you should have. And so, like I said again, if a person is not willing to prospect and present and grow your business, you are highly ineffective as a entrepreneur. Okay. Number four, highly effective entrepreneurs stay focused and don't get distracted. A little bit on number one here, but they are always in counsel. When I say stay focused, the best way to stay focused is always be in counsel. Always be communicating with your mentor, right? And that's one of the things that a lot of people, who come into companies, that are in direct sales, that are in network marketing companies. Some people have success in real estate, they're making six figures, multiple six figures. Some people have success in sales. Some people have success in solar. So, you're making good money and you feel like, what? I don't really need a mentor. I don't really need a coach. And guess what? You don't need a coach. You don't need a mentor, but you also don't need that extra six figures. Okay? you also don't need that extra seven figures, right? And so that's the thing. You're going to get exactly what you deserve, to stay exactly where you're at. Because for me, I've made millions of dollars in multiple companies before I came to this company, but I still leaned on JC Rangel and Idris Alaka for solar help. They were basically my guiding lights when it came to solar, right? And so now that we have Zeta, guess what? I'm locked in when it comes to Mr. Navarro and Mr. Ross, right? I'm listening to everything they say. Roberto Tavares, I'm listening to everything they got to say. How they present, how they train, how they break things down, how they make things make sense, right? I'm learning. I'm in student mode, right? I don't get distracted by people who, a lot of y'all get distracted by people who ain't going nowhere fast. A lot of y'all are being distracted by people who are doing no presentations, right? No trainings. They don't have a team. They just in it. And you have a mentor, you have a coach, you have goals and dreams, but you're being distracted by people who are going nowhere. They're, distracting you from, having a beautiful future in this company, right? And that window, again, when your mentor sees you're not, focused and you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, guys, what happens is they stop giving you that information. They stop giving you that access, right? Very successful people don't give their very productive resources to unproductive people. Okay, they don't. They stop. So they are very. So when you look at highly efficient, and effective entrepreneurs, they are very. When I say very emotionally sophisticated, they are. No one inside or outside the business can change the course of their business. That person, said, well, you know what? I sat down with my mentor. This is my goal. This is my dream. This is how I get to build 8,000, so I can own my business, so I can get that contract. Right. This is how I get to a million coins. This is how whatever it is this is how I'm doing it, and nobody in the business or outside of the business can take that away from me. Okay, and so guys, I need our co-host to help us let people in when they pop up, please. So thank you very much. So when you look at these again, these people who stay focused, guys, we have people quitting. It's not a distraction for them. Like I know people are going to quit my business right from day one. But that's not a distraction for me. Some of you guys, one person quit, and it's like the end of the world for you because you only have four people in your business. Okay. When you have 400, 500 people, 1,000 people in your business, 10, 15, 20 people, they quit. Guess what? You don't even know. Right? Because you are creating, you are building, you have excess. You also have the expectations that some will, someone, or some won't. So what? Somewhere someone will. And you just keep on moving. Right? But they don't let the uncontrollable control them. Whatever happens is going to happen, guys. Right? And you just have to be flexible. Right? You have people who, when we had a hurricane way back, I think it was Katrina back in the day in Houston, a large portion of our business, was in Louisiana and Texas, obviously. Um, but then we had other parts of our business in St. Louis and some other places. When it hit in Louisiana, we lost that business because those people stopped building, and some people in Texas stopped building. But we had enough people in business to where, so you know what, let's just keep on going, keep on going, keep on rebuilding. And for those people who are out there who are moving around, who've been displaced, when they get back, we'll have this thing built up around them. If they don't come back, we understand that too, because people get distracted within their distractions. Okay, life happens, but you can't allow somebody else's decision, right, to kill your dreams and steal your dreams. Right? If someone or something can distract you, then you are highly ineffective as an entrepreneur. Right? Number five, you're highly effective as an entrepreneur. Well, highly effective entrepreneurs are always increasing their personal and financial thermostats. Okay. They're always on every training, guys. And when I say every training that matters to them. Okay. If you were here for rainwater, you might not be on the solar trainings. You might not be on the Zeta trainings. If you're here for Zeta, you might not be on anything except for Zeta presentations and trainings, but you're on everything for Zeta. Okay. Solar, same thing. And so you're on everything that matters. But I can tell you, One other call that you should always be on is this one, the Millionaire Mentorship call. You should always be on this call. But you do everything that's required, guys. Everything that's required to continue to increase your personal and financial thermostat. Right? Always increasing your skill set. When you increase your skill set and then you go out and apply it and implement it and help people in the process, again, those repetitions increase your personal development thermostat, and it also increases your financial thermostat because now your value to the market is higher. And now they pay you more for your time and your efforts and your resources. Okay. But they have an insatiable thirst and desire for personal development. They're always growing. They're always listening to something. They're always attending something. They're always reading something, right? And but most importantly, they're always applying it. Okay, and so that's important. All right. Now, their job is to make people forget who you used to be, right? Some of you guys, again, you're today, you're the same person that you were last year this time, and people can recognize that. There's no personal development in there. There's no growth in there. You're just 1 year older. All right. Now, when you look at this in your situation right now, next year, will you be the same person based on you making the same decisions and based on you not personally developing yourself? But they're always sharpening their axe, right? They understand that there's more security and wisdom and knowledge than it is than staying the same, right? But FYI, personal development is not what you learn; it's applying the knowledge after you learn it. It's wisdom, right? And so it's a continual process. Personal development, it's if you don't evolve or everything around you, you will dissolve. And if you think you already know it, guys, based on your ego, you are highly ineffective as an entrepreneur. Show me a person who knows it all. I'll show you a person who's put a cap on their learning and their earning. All right. Number six, highly effective entrepreneurs always shoot to do the maximum. Always shoot to do the maximum. Okay. Got a friend of mine who does in my old company. He's one of the guys who I used to use as a running buddy. And every time I saw him do something, I would do it because he was always out front leading. But he was doing two presentations a day, for the company before he even does them for his group. That was outside of what he did for his group, and that was for the company. Right. And so I'm like, you know what? I need to make myself useful. And I need to put myself in a position where, I'm out there hunting. I'm out there presenting. Right. But they're always doing the maximum, not the minimum. I'm only going to do this for my team. Yeah. Again, when you have that type of mentality, guys, your team wins, but the company loses indirectly. And when you're actually doing the maximum, everybody benefits. Right. When you do the minimums, guys, you pay a larger price. Ask yourself a question. A lot of people on here, have college educations, right? And when you get to college, first thing they give you is what? Credit card, right? $500 limit, $1,000 limit. Let's say you had one of those $500 limit credit cards. First thing you do is go max it up, go do a little shopping, right? Run it up. They send you a bill for $23 every month, and you pay that $23 every month. And you've been paying that same $23 that on that same $500 card that you had when you was in college 17 years ago. You paid $17,000 on that $500 card in $23 minimals, and you still owe the whole $500. So I'm just saying, well, you pay the minimal, right? You're going to pay the maximum. You're going to pay there's a big cost for you to pay. So when you do the minimal in business, it's painful, right? When you're not calling your people, you're not on your 8 checker list, right? An 8 point system list rather, and calling people and following up with people, presenting to people, prospecting people, letting people know you have Zeta, letting people know you have Smart Money Club, letting people know you have a Venti Travel. When you're not doing these things, guys, nobody knows you're in business. If nobody knows you're in business, they don't join you and they don't buy from you, which means that your minimal, again, is making you pay the cost. But for a person who's out here hunting, like Roberto Robledo, hunting, Matthew Acosta, hunting, right? Roberto Tavares, hunting, Angel Trend, hunting, Earl Beckett, hunting, Chris McHenry, hunting. I can say we know hunters. We see hunters. We see people who are out there maxing out. We see people who are out there really putting their best foot forward. David Leggett, hunting, right? The people who are out there getting it in, right? People who are showing up, but they're out here building, right? And so you want to be the person who's maxing out. You don't want to be the person who's doing the minimal. You want to be the person who's doing the maximum. You want to lead by example, right? So when you do the minimals, guys, someone else has to do your job for you. So that's the other thing. When you do the minimal, when it comes to if you're not presenting, that means that you don't know your information. People who do presentations all day, every day, guess what? They master the information just by default, which means that you don't always have to have somebody communicate on your behalf, right? See, the ignorance that you're dealing with was manufactured by your laziness. The ignorance at this point is a choice. Nobody has to be ignorant about anything that we do, anything that we sell. We have trainings all the time, right? And so, but today I did my first Zeta presentation, and a little bit earlier for one of our team members, and I guess what? When I didn't know the information, I just read. I pointed and read, right? And I'm gonna get better at it. But I'm maxing out. My goal is to max out. So I'm gonna always be doing more than what's required. I'm not gonna do the minimum. I'm gonna do the maximum. So if you're not willing, guys, to go out there and max out, and you're willing to shortchange and shortcut the system, then you're very, very ineffective as an entrepreneur. Okay. Number seven, highly effective entrepreneurs are master promoters. All right. Now, when I say promoters, guys, some people think they just mention, or just, tell people about stuff, right? Well, I'm talking about promoting. I'm talking about people who build a spectacle, or make it look like a spectacle. They build up around it, the anticipation, right? And to the point to where some people think you're crazy. They think you're overdoing it. And I'd rather overdo it and show a person my level of belief and my conviction and how much I value what I am promoting than to under promote, undervalue, and disrespect to de-edify it, right? Because remember, when you look at promoting is a form of edification, and no edification is de-edification, right? And so when you're promoting, these people who are the best at it, they dominate promotions and market share at every event. People who are master promoters, they have the most products sold. People who are master promoters, they have the most people join, right? People who are who are master promoters, they have the most people at the events. They have the most people tickets served. And so the people who are master promoters, guys, they master wealth creation, right? These are people who have learned how to paint pictures with words, right? And it's like, is it live or is it Memorex? Like when you say something, you open your mouth, a person should feel like you're campaigning, almost like you're campaigning for a president. Some of you guys are way more passionate about who was the president of the United States of America than you are about, you actually being wealthy. You promote for a politician more than you do for prosperity and profitability, right? And so when you look at promoting, campaigning, right? And the best way to teach a person how to promote and how to campaign for whatever it is, the individual who's speaking, the event that we're about to go to, the product that we're about to sell, or just the opportunity in general, is to do it. You do it, let them see it, let them feel it, right? Let them learn by you modeling it. Right? But master promoters, when you look at, you know, people like Don King, say what you want about him. As a human being, he might be one of the most rottenest people on the face of the earth. But this man said, hey, since we can't fight here in America, we're gonna create the rumble in the jungle. This man had people fly to Africa and packed out arenas and built up this big to do about Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, right? And so you get that's promoting, right? When you get people fly all across the world to a foreign land they are not familiar with, just to see a fight that may be over with in an hour. Okay, that's promoting. And so when you look at the vision, he got those people there because he was looking at the end result that he desired, and he reverse engineered it. And when you look at the promoting, some of you guys, you have no promoting, or when we go to the markets, we talked about the markets and the trips, and when Mr. Ross hit the cities, different cities, and the promoting was bad, It was bad because you don't have a vision. Most of you don't have a vision for what we have our hands on with Zeta, which is why you basically didn't promote. You didn't see what Zeta could actually do for you, which is why you didn't promote, right? And so I challenge you to go back every time something's about to happen, look at that event or look at whatever it is, look at Zeta, look at timing, look at the first 500 boxes. Like I'm like, I don't understand how we still have 500. Like we haven't hit 500 boxes yet, but it's okay. Trust me. The people who are out here promoting, they are happy that you're losing by default. They're happy that you're not promoting. They're happy that you're not campaigning. They, it's some people who are real winners who they know for a fact they don't even have to run as fast as they want to because they know people are willing to lose on purpose, right? And so you got to think about it. If somebody's betting on you to lose based on your track record, that should tell you something. You got to ask yourself, when a person thinks about me, if Mr. Navarro thought about me right now and my work ethic and how I promote, would he put me, in a position to win, or would he just, not would I just be an extra in the company? Would he put me in a leadership position, or would he help me, or would he introduce me to the next project and have me run lead for it? Or would he just like, hey, glad you're a part of the company, use whatever you want to use, buy whatever you want to buy, sell whatever you want to sell. Would I just be an extra in this build movie to him? See, most people don't. You have to think about it a little bit different in order for you to trigger something to happen within you. Okay. And so whatever it is, be a promoter, guys. When I first joined network marketing years ago, I had a lot going against me. When I say a lot going against me, one, I couldn't dress. Um, I wore polo boots, stars down blue jeans, polo shirts, had gold rings on all fingers except for my thumbs, had a big gold chain with a big old gold medallion, had a gold tooth, right? Didn't have people's respect in the business world. But one thing I did have, was the ability to connect with people because I was a good person. I made them forget what I was wearing and and pay more attention to what I was talking about. I made them take the focus off me and my gold tooth and put it on my leader who was speaking tonight or who was speaking next week, or that event or that product. Okay. And I promoted. That was my superpower. The promoting is the underdog's equalizer, right? Visionaries are normally your greatest promoters because they have to paint a picture. They have to paint the vision, right? When I say, you have people who talk about elevator pitches, yeah, that's cool. But a verbal brochure, when you give a person your verbal brochure, that's the ultimate pitch because now that person, you're connecting your words, creating pictures, and then forcing them to attach an emotion to the picture you just forced them to paint with your words. That's how you make people show up. That's how you make people sign up. That's how you make people purchase boxes. That's how that promoting is where it's at, guys. You'll never see anybody at the top of any company who's not a master promoter. That's not something that's happening by luck. Yeah, you have to be good at that. You don't have to be good at anything else. But if you're good at that, guess what? I can have JC Rangel work for me. And I can have Roberto Tavares work for me. Anybody who's presenting in this company, I can have Mr. Pacheco work for me. And all I got to do is find out what events that they're doing and promote for them. And guess what? Sit back in the audience with my people and watch. Okay. Sit back with my headphones on my ears and listen. Whatever it is, I am going to promote because I'm going to get the people who don't really believe in me in front of the people who they can believe in based on what I told them about that individual. Other thing about mass promoters, they have no ego. They have an understanding. Okay. Broke people have egos. Okay. EGO, edging goes out. Okay. You allow your ego, okay, to say, hey, you can't speak highly about Juan Australia. You can't speak highly about, Idris Alaka. You can't speak highly about, Katrina Whitfield. Man, you're a grown man or you're a grown woman. Okay. With a childish bank account. That's 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 what it boils all down. That's what it boils down to. It's immature. Okay. Promoting and edification is used to build somebody up to a position where they can work for you. Right. But they, but I'm just telling you, promoting guys, that is the fastest, simplest, and easiest way, okay, for you to get to the top of any company based on using the resources that the company has to offer. All the presenters, trainers, they all work for you guys. You just got to get people in the seats, butts in the seats, derrieres in the chair, ears where they can hear all that good stuff, and so promote, learn how to promote. If you don't do anything else, learn how to promote. And if you don't promote the events or promotions and the benefits that we offer, guys, you're highly ineffective as an entrepreneur. Okay. Number 8, highly effective entrepreneurs are masters at launching new groups and new people. They're highly effective at mastering launching new groups and new people. They know how to get a person started properly, guys. They know how to get groups into momentum, right? They master creating and sustaining momentum, right? They master scaling it. They mastered not just building in the living rooms, building in the neighborhoods, building in the cities, but also building in the states and also building in countries outside the country. Hey, once you learn how to master it in your living room, on your Zoom, in your neighborhood, in your city, right? When you start mastering launching people and getting people started right, then you could do it anywhere. You can be dropped in a different country that in a language that you don't even speak, and you find somebody who can translate for you. You can relaunch that whole entire market and have a whole entire group of people who don't understand the words you're saying, be building business with you. Period. It's just like Barbie. Barbie is on every call. Barbara Tresnick is on every call. This woman knows everything we talk about because she don't miss a thing. Guaranteed. She's mastering the art of getting people started and launching people. Her database is so thick, so full. She got to that practice of just launching, and getting people started and properly. She can go to any country, have somebody sign for her, and then speak. Right? She can sign to them, and they speak on her behalf to an audience that can actually hear and speak, and she can launch groups around the world. Okay, you you want to if you can launch a group, you can launch a company. Okay. That's the thing. If you can get a person started in business, you can manage and really manage a company. If you own a company, you can get people started as an employee. If you can launch a group and work different areas, guys, you know, you can actually open up your company and create a franchise out of your company and open it up in different regions. It's all parallels, right? It's all entrepreneurship. Make sure I don't lose. Okay, there we go. Power. All right, but when you look at these entrepreneurs, guys, they can effectively do a micro launch for people who don't actually have influence. Back in the day, you had to have a lot of influence. Now, if you have a little influence, you can show people how to sponsor in small batches, and then find somebody of extreme value in those small batches, and then run with them. So I have some people who are influencers in the group who came in for Zeta, and they're on different projects when it comes to blockchain, but they're not plugged in to build, and that's fine because that's not their goal. But I have calls from people who were sponsored by those individuals based on them having the box and being having access to the group. And so today, got a call from somebody who says, you know what, I got an influencer. I want to put on the phone with you and the CEO. And now the person who brought them in, they're doing great with their life. They're doing fantastic what they do for a living. They're just not doing bill full time. But because they brought this person in, I can work with that individual and say, okay, now we can blow something up because that individual wants to build and wants to bring influencers to the table, wants to bring some heat to the kitchen, right? But if you're not good at launching and getting people started, guys, you're gonna ruin it. So if you have people want to get started, get them, hand them over, right? That you're gonna sponsor the person, you're gonna get credit, but watch how the professional launches, right? Watch how your leader launches, and then learn from that leader how to get a person started properly and how to build that person's organization. Julio Costa is great at that, right? Just telling you, Fabian is fantastic at that. We got some people who we got some hitters in here, guys. If you're attached to these individuals, guys, I'm telling you, get close to them, watch them. All right. Number 9, Highly effective entrepreneurs are masters at edification. Okay. And we talked about it in campaigning, edification and campaigning earlier. I talked about promoting, but they don't let their egos and their accomplishments get in the way of their agenda. Okay. They don't announce, they campaign, right? They don't have egos, they have an understanding. You heard me say that. But the thing about edification, when I say masters of edification, I never edify a lie. Right? Don't ever edify a lie. Because when you say, somebody is a great leader, let's say, and I'm gonna use Philip for an example because I see Philip here, but I also know Philip is an amazing human being. But let's just say Philip, for this example, is a horrible human being, but he just happened to be my sponsor and I'm following the system. And I tell Barbie, "Hey, Barbie, can't wait for you to meet Mr. Johnson." And Mr. Johnson's an awesome leader. He's doing real big things. Everything he touched turns to gold. Some of the stuff that network marketers are always saying, right? And then I put Barbie on the phone with Philip, and all of a sudden, he helps out, and then he starts to steal her people, or he helps her out, and he abuses her or talks to her crazy. See, that falls on me because I edified him as a great leader. No, I'm going to edify what he's good at, and everything else I'm going to leave alone. Okay. I'm going to edify what his strengths are, everything else I'm going to leave alone. Okay. And so everybody's edification is going to be different. And if you are the individual who's being edified, teach people how to edify you. Give people your bullet points. Right. But if you are in business and you're introducing someone to a business partner, um, and you're speaking highly of them, guys, they're going to, now as third party, they don't have a relationship with that individual. So they're going to pay more attention and respect more of what that individual has to say if you do the edification properly. Now, the individual who you edify, they're going to do their job and then they're going to build you up. They're going to recognize you. They're going to pass the weight back over to you. So the person who probably didn't respect you as a business person, they love you as a human being, now they can love you as a human being and respect you as a business person. They can see you in a different light because, that person who you edified you back. That's what edification is. You give the edification so we can give it back. We don't want it. We don't want to, be building with your people. We don't want to do all of your work because people don't trust you. They trust us. No, you edify me. I'm sending it right back. Okay. That's your group. That's your team. That's your resume. I want you to be able to build it, but I'm going to be there to help you. But I'm just there to make sure that you have some respect while you're working with that individual, right? And they don't abuse you or run over you because y'all are too familiar with each other. Okay. But they do make sure, right, that edification is up front. I know people who, like myself, who've made millions of dollars in the industry, but we still will edify the individuals based on the fact that it's business. It's lights, cameras, and action. No egos involved, right? No egos involved. So if you have a destructive ego and you refuse, to edify, not because you have to, but just because you just feel like your ego is going to prevent you from edifying you, that makes you highly ineffective as a entrepreneur. And remember, it says a lot about you, yeah, if you cannot edify the person who you're working with. Right. So I'm like, why can't you say anything nice about this individual? And that's supposed to be your lead, your team lead. That's supposed to be your senior partner. So remember, it says a lot about you if you're working with people and you can't introduce that individual or edify that individual. Number 10, as we wrapping it up, coming to the home stretch, highly effective entrepreneurs are highly effective at opening their minds and casting visions. Right. Highly effective at opening their minds and casting visions. They don't have tunnel vision, right? When they're locked in, they do. But when the overall grand scheme of things, when something pops up, guys, and something hits their radar, they are alert and they can say, you know what, I can see the vision, or I can catch the vision, I can call an audible, I can do whatever I need to do, but I'm not going to be pigeonholed, and I'm not going to miss these opportunities. So, like Mr. Varro started talking about, um, the Zeta. I didn't see it, right? But I'm not supposed to see it. That's not my space. That's not what I do for a living. That was never a focus in the area of my life. And so just because I never had to focus on it don't mean I shouldn't start. right? Just because you have people who think just because it's not their field, right, or something they are not familiar with, that they're not that they can't make money in it or they're not supposed to delve in that arena. It's the exact opposite. You know, if the money is there and you can see the money the money is going in that direction, it's going to end up at that spot. Your job is to intersect, you know, and cut it off and meet it at the pass and at that point get that money. And you can't get it with a closed mind, right? You have to open your mind, right? You have to be flexible. You have to buy into somebody else's vision as well, right? I'm bought into Mr. Navarro's vision when it came to Zeta, right? And then I got a chance to meet, you know, Mr. Ross, and then spend some time with him on the road. And I bought into his vision, the bigger vision, right? Overall vision. And so now I'm happy that I was open-minded because I would have closed off a whole entire income and portfolio from my family and from my team members. And I would have hurt the company. All right. So you want to make sure, guys, that you don't just focus on your vision. You want to focus on the vision. And when you focus on, I'm gonna tell you something about visions. The people who are close to you, people who are on your team, they don't care anything about your vision. They don't. They care about the company's vision. Now, when you say, "Hey, look, I want to make $100,000 a year," you know, guess what? Some people don't care anything about that. But if you say, you know what, as a company, you know, I want to make sure we get to, you know, $1 million, you know, a month in sales. Oh, you want to get to $1 million a month of sales, and guess what? Now you got everybody else wanting to get to $1 million a month of sales, and guess what happens by default? You get to $100,000 a year because you got people who are running for the company's vision, the bigger vision, or the group's vision, right? It's not your vision. Your vision is your goal, right? Have them shoot for the company's vision or the group's vision, and they'll work so much that now with you while you're working, that you'll hit your goal by default. You accomplish your vision by default. Okay. That's how people work. That's how human beings are. And you have to understand human beings. Don't try to change a person. Don't try to, you know, buck the system. It is what it is. People are who are they going to be? People. Okay. But you got to be flexible in thinking. Okay. And when you look at, you know, those entrepreneurs, they can take someone else's vision and create wealth with it. You know, when you look at Richard Branson, he's one of the best at it. Richard Branson has taken a lot of brands, a lot of things, and he's enhanced them. And all he's did was make them better. And he's made billions of dollars just on taking something that already existed and made it better and enhanced it. Yeah. And so it's the same thing here, guys. You know, for each and every last one of you who are joining this company and you're bringing value to the table, you're taking what's in existence and you're making it better. But the people who make it better, those are the people who prosper. Those are the people who actually earn the big incomes. Those are the people who make the difference. Right. And so that's very, very important. So, guys, again, if you can see past your own ideas, I'm sorry, if you can't see past your own ideas, opinions, and visions, you're highly ineffective as an entrepreneur. Number 11, highly effective entrepreneurs are highly effective at consuming, applying, and disseminating information. And so when you look at the information that's coming out, guys, don't sit on it. Don't let it stop with you. Don't be the person who says, you know what, I'm just going to sit up here and I'm going to consume all this information. And then I'm going to give out the information as if I'm the one created it. That's some network marketing stuff. That's that's broke mentality type stuff. That's little Napoleon type stuff. Right? That's if that affected you, if that hit you some kind of way, good. Because you're putting a cap on your team's growth. Okay. Like there are people who are very, very sharp in this company, and like Roberto Tavares, he partnered up with me on Saturday, and we did a training for my team. He's on a whole nother level when it comes to tokenomics and Zeta, and you've heard him present. I'm like, so why wouldn't I partner with a person like that, right? And I'm consuming the information. I'm applying the information, I'm disseminating the information, but I'm also bringing in somebody else who is the information, basically, who can get it out better than I can. Okay? I have no ego. Okay? And so, you got to think about that. They are very good at relying on others. They don't have an ego. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna have this person here, work with this person. I'm gonna have this person work with this person. I'm gonna have this person work with. Look, I can't do it. I'm not gonna try to do it. Okay. But what I am going to do is I'm going to serve everybody in a way that everybody can win while working with me. So when I create those favors, okay, and I come back a knocking, I can say, hey, you know, Jabari, I need a favor. Hey, Matt, I need a favor. Hey, Roxy, need a favor. Wendy, need a favor. You know, Dr. Arlene, need a favor. Right. And so it's like you got to get the information. Treat it like a college course. Break it down. Like I took Roberto Tavares's presentation and I sent it to my VA and I said, hey, look, I need you to um, transcribe this thing. And so she just sent it to me. I haven't even went through it yet, but I got the email. She transcribed it for me probably about 30 minutes before I got on this call. And I'm like, I can't wait to dive into this. I can't wait to go in here and look at all these quotes he's got, all these super, simple explanations and how he breaks things down. I'm about to go through this thing with a fine-tooth comb, right? So I'm consuming information, I'm applying it, I'm breaking it down, I'm disseminating information to my group. All my groups have the videos, the 3-minute video, the 12-minute video, the 30-minute video. I mean, they have access to anything I have access to. It's not my information, right? Some of you want to hoard the information like it's yours. You're just like, oh man, that's profound. Let me hold on to this for a little while before. No, get rid of it. Get on it. Get off of it. The person who gets the information out the most is one who learns the most. Right? So again, to be highly effective, be highly effective at that, guys, you have to learn how to be self-reliant and invaluable, irreplaceable, right? You have to be the one that people look up to and look towards. Right? It's when you look at NFL football teams, right? You have people like who can I use as an example? The kid in the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback. They paid him 50 million a year. Now, they didn't pay him 50 million a year because he was worth 50 million a year. They paid him 50 million a year because he was irreplaceable. He's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He hadn't won but maybe one playoff game. I think he may have went to one playoff game or won one playoff game. But the problem is he's irreplaceable because if they get rid of him, who are they gonna get? Right? And so by default they had to pay him 50 million. All right. If some of you guys will step up to the paint and just go out here and knock it out the park and come out here and do presentations, come out here and sell boxes, come out here and do all these things and do like what Chris McHenry does. He's taking the bull by the horns. He's taking responsibility for a lot of the things, the day-to-days that the company doesn't have time to do, hosting calls and setting up presentation events and the calendars and stuff like that. He's going out there putting himself in a position of value where he's irreplaceable. See, all he has to do is continue to build on his value and build on his brand at the same time, and he's irreplaceable, right? So take that, guys. Again, just hopefully you're learning from that part. But you are a highly ineffective individual and entrepreneur if the information and education stops with you. If you are the bottleneck for the information and education and the empowerment, you are highly ineffective as an entrepreneur. Okay. 12. Highly effective entrepreneurs are comfortable with having hard, uncomfortable conversations. Okay, guys, and this is when you're telling people the truth in a respectful but direct way. Okay. And most people don't want to have those conversations. Most people avoid those conversations. Okay. So when things go bump in the night and you're going to always have to either be the mediator or be the person who is the one who has to deliver the message, you can't waver on that. Okay. Now, there are ways that you can make it easy to have that conversation. Right. Like you might want to write this down. If I have to have a hard conversation, one of my go-tos is this. Hey, Freddie, if I knew you was doing something that cost you millions of dollars, would you want me to tell you? He's gonna say, yeah. So now when he said yeah, right? Yes, y'all saw him nod. He's giving me permission now to be honest with him. He's given me permission now to be direct with him in a respectful manner, right? And that's the thing you want to learn how to do. Conflict resolution. Have hard conversations. Okay. Be honest, direct with people, let people know what's costing the money and what's costing the company money, what's costing the team money, right? That's important. Okay. These individuals have no problem addressing character issues, missed assignments, or giving corrective criticisms. People might have problems receiving it, but they have no problem giving it. Right? They are direct, but they are tactful. Right? They are okay with being disliked as long as you respect them for telling them the truth for their benefit. Tell you all the time, this is not a popularity contest for me. I had some people who took offense last week to what I said, and that was fine with me. Because my job here is not to make you like me. My job here is to make you money. My job here is to make you better. And if you don't like me, along that way, but you make a lot of money, that makes me happy. Okay, that's a fact. That's how I was raised. That's how I was groomed in leadership, and that's when you read all the best from the best. Yeah, you don't how they say spare the rod, spoil the child. It's the same thing for adults. It's just in business. If I don't tell you the truth and I can come at you and say, hey man, this is what you're doing, this is costing you money, costing your team money, you're losing people, people are quitting, people don't like that you're doing this, that, like bringing politics into business or bringing religion into business, bringing race into business, doing all kind of, or bringing bad character issues and flaws to business guys, or hitting on people in your team, or hitting on people in the company, just turning this thing into a meme. When you see things like that, you're not communicating with people. You're now, an accessory. You are part of the problem instead of being the solution. Pull a person to the side and have a conversation with them. You don't have to go run and tell it. Just go pull them to the side and say, hey, Retha, if I knew you was doing something that was gonna cost you some money, or have people look at you in the wrong way, would you want me to tell you? She's gonna say yes. So, all right, Ruth, let me share something with you real quick here. Okay. And so now when I have that conversation with her, and it's going to be a conversation between me and her, I'm not going to go run and tell it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Crystal, guess what Aretha did? Nah, we ain't finna do that. We're adults around here. And I'm gonna make sure she knows that she ain't got to worry about me having a conversation with nobody either. I'm not finna go tell JC. I'm not finna go tell Winston. I'm not finna go tell Mr. Pacheco. I'm not finna go tell Julio. I'm not finna go tell Juan. That's between me and her because I'm here to help her, not to hurt her. Okay. Same thing I want you guys to do the same exact thing with me. Okay. And so it is, there's nobody's above approach. When you look at the company is the most important piece of this puzzle. When it comes to the overall entity, without this company, there is no future, revenue for any of us in this company. So we do what's best for the customer and the company here, not what's best for our wallets. Okay. So that's important. But they are, like I said, okay with being disliked. And so you have to be okay with being disliked. You got to be, sometimes you're going to have to be public enemy number one. Okay. As long as people know that you have a good heart, as long as people know that your personality, your character is what it is, then they can pay more attention to who you are as opposed to who hurt their feelings at that moment. Right? They'll get over it easier or receive it a whole lot. That's my son. Man, I'm having conversations with my sons all the time, and it's like, when I pull them to the side, it's like I'm not talking down on them. I'm not talking at them, standing up over them. I'm not talking loud at them, screaming at them. We're having a conversation, and I'm telling them why we're having this conversation and why, if you keep on with this behavior, if you keep on down this track, if you keep on with that habit, this is how it's going to affect you. And so some of you have these conversations with your kids, you know, and it's easy for you to have them with your kids. Just transition it to an adult. It's just the same thing. Keep it respectful. All right. But some of you can't even have that conversation. Some of you can't have a hard conversation with your kids. So you're definitely not going to be able to have a hard conversation with adults. If you can't have a hard conversation with a kid, it's good luck with the adults. Right. So if you have kids right now, your kids run your household, not gonna tell you what to do in your household, but I would strongly advise you to create a habit, start a habit of putting your foot down. How you do anything is how you do everything, guys. And when people look at people who want to be business partners with you, if they see that your kids run your life with a reckless abandon and they have no control, they have no discipline in it, if they see that, they'll never partner with you because they know that you're going to bring that passiveness to their company. You're going to bring that bad habit to their company, right? And so it parallels. Remember, from how you live one area of your life is how you'll live your business area, that part of your life as well. Uh, so I got a bonus for you on the way out. This is a baker's dozen, number 13. Highly effective entrepreneurs. Okay. They are all 360-degree leaders. Okay. 360-degree leaders, guys. These are people who are influential to everybody in the company, not just their team. And, and I wouldn't say everybody, but you can lead and have impact with people outside of your group. You can lead and have impact with people who are in your success team. You can lead and have impact, you can have impact, over decisions that your senior partners make. Okay. Because if you have a senior partner that's a tyrant, that's one thing. But if you have a senior partner that's open-minded, and they are open to considering listening to you, and you've earned it, right? Not because you asked for it. That's a 360-degree leader. That's a person who can impact anybody at any point in time, in any part of the company, any part of the movement, right? And you don't actually have to even have a leader. Like for me, when we were in two companies, one in the coffee company. In the coffee company, I literally didn't have a leader. All my leaders, direct leaders, were people I didn't associate with. Had some falling out, what I'm saying? Had bad blood, couldn't trust some people. So I leaned on the system. I plugged into the Millionaire mentorship calls, right? I went to all the boot camps. I qualified for every event. And then I made sure I made every event I qualified to go to. And I learned that system. I mastered that system. So I didn't need anybody. I didn't put myself in a position to need anybody, right? And by doing so, guys, I became self-reliant, but also because I did master the system, there were a lot of people who were new to the company that needed help, and I helped them. Therefore, I created favors. Okay, there are people who, came in who were leaders or who were in corporate positions in the company as well, who I had impact with based on me and my common knowledge of what business and the company. And so you want to make sure that you're able to lead up, lead down, lead cross line, with integrity, by the way, not with the intention to steal somebody when you get ready to make your next move. All right. Always making deposits in the company, always making deposits in your teams, always making positive, just in anybody in the culture. When you're stopping, I say, when you're moving around and people stop you, ask for advice, you stop and give it to them, if you have time. And people hit you up online, right? Ask you for advice, you hit them right back, give them some answers, whatever. That's leadership. That's 360-degree leadership, guys. That's selfless, is leadership. And I'm telling you, people really do tend to put those people first when they think about individuals who serve others first, servant leaders. Those become some of the most valuable people in the company. Okay, they always go first. They always lead by example. They never go last. They never send in the troops first. They always go front line. Right? No entitlement, no ego. And if you want to be on the mountaintop, guys, you have to be willing to do what's required. Even if you are, say, at the top of the company, you still have to be willing to start at the bottom and climb your way back up. When we got to this company together, I didn't ask for a position. I didn't get a position. I could have asked for one. I could have asked to go directly to the company, whether they would have did it or not. I could have asked for it. But no, I want to make sure the person who invited me to this opportunity got the credit, and I wasn't worried about it because I was willing to build it anyway. Network marketers gonna ask for everything. Entrepreneurs don't ask for nothing except for what the assignment is. And they're gonna go and earn everything that they want in life. Because one thing you can't tell me is when I get to the top of this company that I didn't own it. I didn't earn it. I started, how you say, started from the bottom. Now I'm here. That should be your mentality because the more they give you, the less you'll do. Oh, I'm gonna put you in this leg, give you some overflow. Guess what? Now you know you can Cadillac a little bit. You got some spillover. I'm gonna put you at the top of this leg. Yeah, now you know you got a ready built team already on one side, and you ain't gotta do a whole lot of work, just working on one side of your business, right? The more somebody gives you, the more it says something about you. The more you ask for, the more it says about you. The more you expect, the more you feel like you're entitled to, it says something about you, even if they don't say anything to you. Okay. So just know that, guys, become a service, become service central. Like my wife today, we had a young lady who called in and called me and was like, "Hey, look, I had a question about my box." I said, "Hey, look, I'm not the guy, but you got customer service, you got installation instructions, and then, let me see if my wife can answer a question for you or two." And my wife said, "Yeah, she'll answer questions." So she's a servant leader as well. And so they're working on getting that addressed, right? But I'm if I can't help you, I'm gonna try to put you on to somebody I can who can help you. I'm always going to be a connector. I'm always because they gotta get the job done, guys. We gotta get the job done. Okay, so with that being said, guys, tonight I appreciate each and every last one of you guys hanging in here with me. And what I want you guys to do, I always have something for you guys to do. Um, Reach out to your sponsors, reach out to your senior partners, your upline leaders, and send them a text message. And that text message said, and make sure that text message says that I'm a highly effective entrepreneur. All right. And see how many of them text messages they get. Let them know that they missed something nice. All right. I am a highly effective entrepreneur. So see you guys at the top. See you guys at the bank. See you guys at the beach. And I'll be here tomorrow at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time doing the pre